We had been counseled to start off with foreplay because it was going to help the body like prepare to receive, prepare for the master.
You know that
the soul of
my foot had nerves that were connected to me and then connected here in the middle of me.
The whole desire, make out and everything, you go pew, and then pain.
Ladies and gentlemen, you're welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is TitOluwa, Sam-Oladapo. Welcome again to my YouTube channel. It's an amazing, see, this time that I came with you, I came with so much gratitude because you people came in your massive population. I'm so grateful, guys. I'm so grateful. The numbers on 2 of our videos, mind blown. I mean, our first time on YouTube and we get that much love. I am so grateful. Thank you to all over 1,000 people that have subscribed. I am grateful. Thank you so much. Again, this time around, I have the love of my life, Sam-Oladapo. Thank you so much for joining again. My name is TitOluwa Sam-Oladapo again, and I film from Lagos, Nigeria, and we talk about faith, marriage, love, relationship, God. That's basically, and lifestyle. That's what we talk about here. But so far, we've spoken about relationship, how we met. Just please watch our other videos. We have just 2 videos, you know, but we're still rookies in YouTube. But by the grace of God, we are getting more and more familiar with it. Okay, so today, just like you will tell by the title, almost 1 year, actually 1 year of marriage without sex. And if you came here to know how is a lie is not possible, just stick around. We're about to explain to you why we had to decide to not have sex. Let's go. We got married on 26th of December 2020. First night, nothing, we didn't do anything. Second night, nothing, because we were really tired. But second night, that's 27th night, we had gone to buy some things that we needed. A lot of my friends had gotten married prior to that time, and so they had given me some tips, and I think also him some tips about what to do when we are, you know, ready to eat the forbidden fruits.
No, at this time it's not a forbidden fruit.
Okay, so the former forbidden fruit, but now the blessed fruit. So we went to get lubricant. We got KY jelly. It's water-based lubricant. We got that, and I think that's basically.
We got condoms.
We got condoms too, because we got condoms too. So we went ahead and tried in our honeymoon too. Let's just say the walls did not pass. They were close. In fact, it felt like it was one wall, like nothing.
No, the first time that was not really the experience. It was a case of.
For me, that was the experience. It felt like.
For me, I couldn't find, and I couldn't. So very good. Let me just summarize it. You know, there's no light at all. Everywhere darkness, and then you want to connect the plug into a socket, and then you're looking for it. So sometimes
you even
use your hand. Use your hand to trace.
So trace it. If you're abroad, you probably don't know this experience because there's always light. But you see, just imagine.
We've been conditioned this way. Let me bring it to reality. So yeah, I couldn't find
any route.
Yeah, the destination was missing. Not that the destination was not there, but I lacked the
required knowledge to know how to.
That was day 1. Right, we did the first day. So we had been counseled to start off with foreplay because it was going to help the body like prepare to receive, prepare for the master. But then we did it too. Master no agree.
Master no. It's just like pouring. For me, it felt like you're pouring oil on a wall, and you just want it to open. That's how it felt. Like. That's how it felt to me. It's just like I was like, wait, I'm damaged. There's something wrong with me. Those were the things that were coming to my head. So I remember that I cried. I turned, you know, even though he talked like, oh, it's not a big deal. We have our whole lives to try and everything. And when he slept, I remember lying down like, but TitOluwa, why do you always have problems? what is your problem? Why is everything so difficult for you? I remember, you know, and I cried. The next day again, we tried. Ladies and gentlemen, nothing happened. It's not just that, oh, you didn't enter. It's that the pain for you even, just that you were just going around that circumference. The pain was horrific.
And for me at the time, the feeling was, you're a novice, so guy, if you knew, if only you know, right?
Assuming you had gained knowledge.
Yeah, but the real question was what knowledge? Yeah.
We got married as virgins.
It was more of, assuming you had experience, right? Because it was like experiential knowledge was probably the key to unlocking this, and you know I had keys from, if you watch it. Bottom line, the key.
There was no key.
There was no key in this, and it was, but it needed to be available for her because at this point, day 2, she was. I didn't know that day 1 she cried. I didn't know, it was more private. But day 2, I was. Of course, I need to give words of reassurance and all, but the crux is I did not know what was wrong at that point, because I felt for me it was because I didn't know. Yeah. Yeah,
I'm even surprised he said that, because I mean we just went straight into Google. Like, that honeymoon was filled with crying, trying, and googling. We were on Google, how to this virgin, how to penetrate, how to, as in so many things we read, but at the time we didn't even know it was vaginismus. So the reason we didn't have sex for 1 year, in case you're still wondering how so it's called, the condition is called vaginismus. That's what it's called basically. So we ended up the honeymoon, came back home, and we had some other things, externalities that were going on at that time that was also taking a toll on me and on him individually and as a couple. So that's added. But 2 weeks into marriage, this would have been early January or mid-January, I called a doctor friend of mine, I called my auntie who is a doctor, and I think I also called my mom. But of course they didn't want to immediately postulate that it is a major deal. So I think the doctors minimized it. My mom, shout out to you, Mom, you were a sucker at that time. My mom really, you know, she sent me a message, try KY, try this, try that. You know, but at that time I was already nearing frustration, as in I was really close. I was in the area. I just had not parked in front of the house. So after 2 weeks, after everybody just kept saying, oh, it's just your mind, it's just your mind, the pain is not that bad, take it. I was done, because it's not even that it was painful, it's that we can't even find anywhere to go to. And while we're looking for, the pain is intensely crazy. And so I think prior to my going to the hospital, something happened.
Yeah, so we're making out, and then without asking, just said to try, and it wasn't like in, but the resultant of that decision, it was quite bad, because it was like surge of pain was released, right? She was just
that pain was like that pain. I didn't know that
the sole
of my foot had nerves that were connected to me and then connected here in the middle of my head. It's not funny. It's not for that pain is intense. That pain is not, as in, I used to massage my leg afterwards, because it's like they pierced my leg with tiny pins at plenty at the same time. It was bad. There, here, my leg, everywhere, pain, and it was not funny. So that's how it felt at the time. And after that experience, I think I decided, I'm not supported, that I would go see a gynecologist. That was the most horrific experience with a medical practitioner that I've ever had. I drove myself that day, the 26th of January, exactly 1 month after I got married to this fantastic man. I went to the Wire, Yaba, Lagos, Nigeria. The hospital is there. And I went in, saw the GP. Of course, I was a bit uncomfortable, but my husband was busy with work, and I felt since it was just like a checkup, we're not going to do anything major, that just to know the diagnosis, what was wrong, then I would decide if I wanted to go on or something. So I told my husband where I would drive there. So I drove there, and I saw the GP, the general practitioner, who confirmed that there was an issue and then referred me to the gynecologist. I was still chatting with my husband while we were confirming with the HMO if that was covered, blah blah blah, the whatnot. Went into this man's office. There was no name tag, there was no name tag on the door, there was no plaque, there was nothing. Even on his coat, there was nothing. You know, so I remember asking, what's your name? What's your name? And he told me his name. I told me the Holy Spirit let me call out, I would have called his name because he's a excuse sir, that useless. You know, say
hey, try sir.
So we what's it?
So, no, I was talking about how.
So I sat down in his office. Let me just give you the picture. My face was down. I was sad. You know, I was already beating myself up. I was already angry. I was in pain. I was everything. So I sat down, and this man started. How old are you? So I told him 28. I'm 29 this year. That was my answer. That was last year. And then he goes, how long did you date your husband for? I said 3 years. You didn't have sex. So you didn't have sex. 3 years, you didn't have sex. I mean, it was just a minute. Is that not why you're here? Why didn't you have sex? I said, well, it's our conviction. So me, I'm a sinner. Me, I'm a sinner. Is that not why you're here? Your husband is a virgin. That's why I can't disturb you. A man that cannot disturb you. What's that? What's that? It was like he was piercing my heart and destroying my resolve to, you know, to serve God and to obey Him and to follow His clearly written out rules in the Bible. I was in pain, guys. That was emotional pain. So he said, well, I'll just lay down. Let me see what's there. It's not a big deal. So, of course, he minimized it to the barest minimum. A part of me was a bit excited that maybe it's not so bad, or, you know. As he lay down, we checked him. You're a virgin. That's true. You're a virgin. You're really a virgin. Because, assuming you are not a virgin, when I checked, I would have seen it that you are not a virgin. But see, a virgin, a couple of people will come here, they would have done this and see, they would have done it. And when I see your husband, I will tell him that you're a virgin. So I said, okay, that he can see that there's a seal. There's like a rubber band on my on the area that there's a seal that he's just going to use. I remember him doing his finger like this. He's going to use his finger to like remove the rubber, and that's it. You know, if that doesn't work, then he threatened me with surgery. Then you have to go into surgery. Then you have to go into surgery. I'm like, okay. I wasn't comfortable. He now said, okay, let me call a female medical practitioner. So he called the matron. Matron stayed there. I was on the examination table. That was the next things that happened were the most horrific 3 minutes in my entire life. It was terrible. I'm talking about the pain was horrible. And this man, I mean, from the immediately he tried. I was not on pain meds, I was not on anesthetic, I was nothing. I told this man I have horrible pain, and he just felt it's nothing. And for 3 minutes I fell off the examination table. When I fell off, the matron quickly held me and said, sir, you have to stop, I'm like, well, it's done. He didn't do anything. He just violated me. And I was crying. I started crying. Tears were coming out of my face on a bed. Like, you know, sometimes when you're crying, you have to put emotion. I was just looking, and tears were pouring, like torrential rain on my face. I sat down there. I've removed it. So he gave me some other instruction. But the next 2 days, he has to have sex, whether I feel like it or not, blah, 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 blah. I called my husband when I walked out. I couldn't even talk. I was shaking. My body felt like something wasn't right. So I called my husband and I told him to come get me, that I couldn't drive. And I couldn't because I was shaking. Not only couldn't I drive, the rest of the day into the next day or so, I didn't say, I barely said a word. I was so mute. I was silent. Try which says I was bleeding. I bled for 2 days as well. Yeah, so it wasn't, I was spotting, sorry. It was like, which sex? What are you talking about? It was bad. Let me put this here. Vaginismus is a mental thing. Vaginismus is a mental thing. The reason there isn't any medical medicine or drug and whatever for it is because it is medical. So the more physical exertion you put on yourself, I feel like it's the more difficult it is to get over vaginismus.
Yeah, so I think I was no, I was not in a meeting, but I was busy with work, and then the call came in. So I just called my colleagues and I needed to get to the hospital. At that point, I was wondering, because we have been chatting all the while, and she was saying that yeah, it was fine and all of that. And for God's sake, it's supposed to be check-up, right? Diagnostic, not. Anyways, I got there and I saw her. She didn't look good, and she couldn't even talk. So I was wondering, really. So I got doctor said he wanted to see me, and I can't remember specific words he said, but I knew the fact that he was like, we should try again. We should try that night. We should try the next day, and he was like, we should. That maybe I also lack experience. Yeah, I think he also mentioned that maybe I lack experience.
Sir, in case you ever.
Maybe I lack experience but the truth is, the doctor was just very unprofessional.
Unprofessional and a randy old man.
It was just very unprofessional, and really what he did, before she went to the hospital, she was already emotionally stressed. What he did was just layered and stacked, like stress and emotions, and really pretty much add like a stigma to the thought of sex. And sex is supposed to be pleasurable.
Sex is pleasurable, ladies and gentlemen. I think we can speak now. Sex is very pleasurable. It's something that every human being that gets married should enjoy because it's a blessing of God. Hallelujah. Glory be to God. Amen.
You should play the organ here. And then she called her auntie, and the aunt asked her, may you...
Was that on pain meds? Did you give you pain meds? Did you give you... There's numbing creams? Nothing like that. Not even lubricants. Not even lubricant. Let's even say you don't even give me med pain. Not even nothing. It was painful, friction, everything. Anytime I still think about it, I still get emotional because it was unfair. I came there broken down. I wasn't happy. It was written on my face that I'm not okay. And first of all, you minimize me, my values, everything, as though you're not praying that your daughter should not. It's not like a prayer. And then you're still insulting myself, my husband. Upon that was number one layer. Let's even assume after that you even now did profession. You did your profession. No, he decided to evaluate me. So anyway, that happened. And so because of that, at this point, I called my mom and I was broken down. I was tired, So, and again, I want to shout out to my mom because she was a major support in this time. I saw what it did to her, and it humbled me that it's not you. You're not the one going through all of this. Yet you could carry this on yourself. She doesn't like this kind of public, but I had to put it there. She was a major support. Long story short, we got back. We were in Ibadan the next week for surgery to be in Ibadan because it was going to be like a day, like an outpatient surgery. So I was going to do the surgery and go home, but at the same time, I still had to be in Ibadan. I couldn't travel that time, so I had to plan to be in Ibadan for like, I think 3 days or 4 days, I can't remember. We ended up staying in Ibadan for a week anyway. We got back on Valentine's Day last year. So we got back, we got to Ibadan, and my mom, let's pay. What is it? How much? Don't wait for HMO. Let's pay. How much is it? Give me your account number. My mom was, I saw what it did to her, and I'm grateful that, that really touched me. That's why we also decided not to tell her, or, we just made her believe that the surgery did not work. I did what was called digital dilation. But before then, just so you know how horrible the experience was with the Iwaya Yaba doctor, when the professor was going to examine me, I just at a table with a lady there, my husband was just outside and all that. It didn't touch me. I didn't even know it was subconscious. That's how violated I was. and we gave us numbing cream initially. He didn't want us to do the surgery. That's the professor. He didn't want us to do surgery initially. Told us to try numbing cream. The numbing cream didn't work. We landed in the hospital. I was totally put under. My husband was a great support, even in the hospital. We got back home and all that, and I remember that I thought they were going to cut me, but then they said, oh, by the time they checked during the surgery, the hymen was gone. So it was just, that's why I say it's a mental thing. So I think that mistake trial that he did actually broke the hymen. So it's not about the hymen being there or whatever. Now, please see your gynecologist. I was put here because they say, I hear there's some people perforated hymen or this or that. Don't just imagine you have vaginismus because of terrible sex. It may not be that. It may be something that is actually easier than that. So see your gynecologist and see a doctor before you diagnose yourself.
And I hope he's a professional because...
Please. Please.
Anyways, we'll still talk about it.
So after that surgery, we got back to Lagos, like I said, and for 2 weeks non-stop I was very dizzy. I was extremely tired. I wasn't tired. I was fatigued. I was exhausted. My emotions were on the line, and so many other things. So at this point we decided that we're not doing anything again. We're tired. We had spent money, we had spent time, we spent energy. We were both spent, and I think even at that time, finances from that February to the end of February, before God gave us a major breakthrough, our finances were basically on life support. After the surgery thing, it was a major thing. It was a major thing. And one day while we're praying, because by God's grace we pray in tongues for 1 hour every Saturday together, and while we're praying that day, I felt the Holy Spirit tell me that I didn't ask him. So everything I did, immediately the doctor did the nonsense he did, I just sprung to, let's do this. Okay, this is not working. Let's do this. I didn't even pause to ask God, what are you okay with this? Should we do this? The Bible says in Proverbs 3 that we should commit our ways, everything to God's hands, like acknowledge him in all our ways. I didn't do that, and I owned it immediately. So we rested. So that was between February and November. We decided that we're not going to do anything. We had the breakthrough by God's grace November 18, 2021, and when we decided we're not going to do anything, it was probably mid-February. So we had about 9 months of waiting, and they were not. I want to tell you that and we just believed God, and we just trusted, and we didn't waver.
So it's not like we set the expiration date.
Yeah.
The expiration date was pretty much when we had
the breakthrough. Yeah.
But it was, like she said, it was really a very lengthy period, because it came with various emotions. So I remember that.
What were your emotions like between that February and November when we finally? What are some of the experiences like you can remember that we can share in the short?
Okay, so I think to a large extent, I did a lot of compartmentalizing. Yeah, so I was not really in tune with my emotions to a large extent, because I felt I needed to be as available as possible for her, because she was going through lots of emotions, and it really came off like I was the one inflicting it. I go cool. So let me explain. I'll try to be pictorial in my explanation. There's the law of diminishing return, which could be represented by a chart. Now it goes like this, and it comes down. So in order for you to have a full context, right? You go desire, make out and everything. You go pew, and then pain. Let me tell you when it's even more frustrating. When after the first try and it's pain, she's like, you know what? Try again, and then I'm like, I am not able.
I'm unable to count at this point.
Honestly, it was just very tiring, because there were times when she would break down and it would not be like, what did I do? What did I do? Is this like, because she would just shut off, like she shuts off at that point, and I understood, because it's like, what's the way forward? We've gone to hospital, we've gone to professor,
surgery.
we've gone to... in fact, at some point, part of the recommendation, the professor was like, after trying everything, the first suggestion he gave was we should try numbing creams. So we tried lidocaine, then we tried a stronger one, MLA, right? It didn't work. So it was like, okay, the surgical stuff, they tried that, it didn't work. So it was like, if that doesn't work, then maybe we might have to come to the theater and pretty much do like an observed, honestly speaking, it was a turn off for me because
so they were going to numb me from, and it's like give me an epidural, so waist down, and be totally numb, I don't feel anything. So he would now try to penetrate, basically.
Right.
He would try to penetrate while the professionals would be outside. They will be able to see or they'll be able to guide, in case there's anything. They will come in, guide you, go back outside, that kind of thing.
Honestly speaking, that wouldn't have worked.
My husband, it won't have worked because it's a mental thing.
Yeah, but the crux is, at the end of the day, everyone has, and I also remember the fact that the professor mentioned the fact that it could be psychological, and there are sex therapists that could help in that regard, but really we don't have so much, or even if we have, we don't know. So the issue we have, right, is, and it was part of what I said I was going to talk about later, we have an issue with knowledge in Nigeria. The knowledge availability is very low. Most of what we find that is enabling is international information from external environments, and it's not the best. So, and really I think that was also part of what
spurred us to share.
Exactly, because it was a case of nobody says anything, and apparently we didn't even know it was that.
Immediately we spoke.
Right?
Immediately I spoke, I had about 200 cases, and I'm not joking. Getting messages upon messages upon. I think I felt ill 31st of, because of the, I posted 26th, and I won't, as I'm waking up, I'm on my phone, responding, calling, picking calls. You know, my husband had to speak with somebody's husband. It was a lot, you know, because, and I'm still getting messages till today. It's very common. So, as much as it tries to isolate you, please, it's a very common thing. Very common. The concluding part will be posted on Wednesday via this channel. Please be sure to watch it as well. Thank you very much. I appreciate you guys. I hope you have been blessed by listening to our experience. I know the topic is why you came. I hope you have been blessed. One way or the other. Thank you so much for coming. I appreciate you. You're a fantastic, fantastic man. Thank you so much for watching. See you in the next video. Thank you so much, guys. We love you. Thank you so much for all the comments. Please remember to like, comment, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. God bless you. Have a fantastic week.
Cheers, guys.